Cancel student debt. Now that I've gotten the appropriate applause with the mask. Okay, I'm so delighted to be joined first by our great new congressman who's already making waves and doing great things in Washington, D.C., and in the Bronx, and in Westchester, Jamaal Bowman. Our great senator from the 36th District, who is now, I am proud to say, the leader of the Democratic Party in the entire borough of the Bronx, Jamaal Bowman. We have our great assembly member who's been in the assembly 15 years? A while. Michael Benedetto. And our new council member from the 12th District, Kevin Riley. Plus, the wonderful president of River Bay Corp. For those of you press who don't know, that means Co-op City. Linda Burke. And we're going to have two shareholders who live here, two beautiful sisters wearing their red. It's their favorite color. They are not Deltas, I asked them. Deborah Jones and her sister, whose name I forgot. Diane, the two D's. And I want to give special mention to one of the people in my detail, my police detail, Capitol Hill, is Larry Adams, whose father lives here and sister lives here in Co-op City. He's not allowed to wave because he's guarded too. Okay, so it's great to be here. And I want to thank everyone for being here. And we're going to get quick to the guidelines. Now, we have an opportunity at beautiful Co-op City in the Bronx because opportunity has come knocking. See? Opportunity knocks. And we should answer. So let me explain. Congressman Bowman and I are here to reveal to the 45,000 residents of this 320-acre co-op, America's largest, and we're so proud of Co-op City, that this is a rare shot to secure tens of millions of dollars for this community. Now, how do you get that? It's not going to come out of an airplane and be dropped down. It's called a mortgage refinancing option. That is, when the mortgage expires, interest rates are lower, and it only might, give Co-op City an opportunity to get some money. Here's what it means in numbers. A refinance here means in a place like this, an already an oasis affordability could in total get about $100 million when you refinance and the rates go down. And what can they do with that money? Well, Jamaal and I are not going to tell them what to do. It's going to be up to the co-op board and the cooperators to decide. And they will. But they can do lots of different things. They could do repairs, they could do upgrades, they could make sure when they have to maintain that the costs, the increased costs over the years are not passed on to the tenants. That will be their decision. But what we do know is it could save a lot of people in the Bronx some real dollars. The co-op board has a list of things that can be done here to make things better. Like any home or apartment owner wants to do. The only difference here is we have, how many cooperators? They have 15,000 people who are going to decide this. Apartments. 45,000 people, I know that, but it ain't. So when a couple lives here, is that they're both cooperators? Yes, so we have 45,000 cooperators, including little ones, big ones, everybody. So let's consider this. Here's the hurdle, and here's why Congressman Bowman and I are here, and I want to thank him for alerting me to this problem. HUD needs to clear a path before Co-op City can answer that knock of opportunity. So we're here to tell our friends, roll out the welcome mat, work with the tenants, the cooperators rather, and get this done and give them the option. Get through all the paperwork, get through all that stuff, and then tell them what the options are. And we will be looking over HUD's shoulder, Jamaal and I, and all of the elected officials, the two Jamaals, pretty good. Both taller than me, I regret to say. But in any case, we'll be looking over their shoulder. The good news is we have a new Secretary of HUD, which we were proud to push forward in the Senate, Marcia Fudge from Cleveland. It's not New York, but it's a city. And she understands this and many other things. We're going to ask her for a lot of money for public housing too, but that's not for today. That's a different day. And so we've written to Congressman Bowman, and I have written to Marcia Fudge. Here's the letter. And we just say, let's get a move on this. Clear the paper, clear the red tape. Let the cooperators know what they could do and what's available when the refinancing comes up, and then let them make the decision, which is so necessary. We want to improve the lives of those living here and provide affordable housing for generations to come. This is a beautiful thing, Co-op City. It provides working people a decent place to live. I know, because my wife was brought up in a very similar Mitchell-Lama in Brooklyn, but I am not going to tell you the name. It begins with a T. So, you reporters know. You all know what I'm talking about. Her father was a cab driver. Her mother was a clerical worker at Coney Island Hospital, proud member of 1180, a CWA, and they gave him a good life. Miss them. But anyway, so we know how great Co-op City is. We know we want to keep it a strong, affordable, middle-class place for decades and generations to come, because New York City desperately needs more places like this, and Jamaal and I will fight to make sure that that happens. So that's what I'm going to say. The bottom line is we want the residents to thrive here. It's an opportunity, and we will push to clear the path. Jamaal Bowman.
Thank you, Chuck. I mean, Senator Schumer. So I want to thank Senator Schumer, who's the Senate Majority Leader, for always, for always being responsive, because he understands that he's responsible for the entire state. Whenever I call him, he gets right back to me. When I send him a text message, he's very responsive. This is the second time we're coming together in collaboration for Co-op City. The first time we sent a joint letter to the White House asking for more vaccines so we can open a vaccination site. Within 48 hours, the site was open. So I want to give Senator Schumer a huge shout out and remind everyone here, he is the Senate Majority Leader for the United States of America. First time from New York, which means he has a lot of power, so we need to ask him for a lot of things. Do not be shy. I also want to give a shout out to my brothers Jamaal Bailey and Kevin Rowley. It's so exciting to be representing this community along with them. We are constantly in communication. We have so many ideas, and we want to show you what governing looks like when we are coming from the perspective of collaboration and using our collective resources to support our entire district. I also want to shout out Brother Benedetto. I see I tricked y'all. Y'all thought I was calling them my brothers because they black. Yes, and Benedetto is my brother as well. Not just my brother as an elected official, but my brother in this work for the community. You know, I guess a little over 2 years ago, I launched a campaign where many people didn't think we had a shot. And one of the first events I came to was a Say Nay to the MTA event right here in Co-op City. And the cooperators came out in droves, right, Brother Bailey? It was like hundreds of us out here, hundreds of cooperators out here, pushing back against the MTA's idea to take away transportation resources from our cooperators, from our seniors, from people with disabilities, and from this community. The community pushed back, and guess what? Did they take away transportation? No, they did not. Because the community organized and mobilized and pushed back, and we maintained our transportation infrastructure. But that's not enough. We need to continue to center Co-op City and continue to put them at the top of our political agenda, because you know what? We need more resources. We need more transportation resources. We need more support in terms of our infrastructure, and that's why this refinancing opportunity is so important. New Secretary Marsha Fudge is a friend of ours. She is serious about this issue. She is serious about investing in communities that have been historically ignored. We gave her a call just to give her a heads up that the letter's coming, because we're excited about working in collaboration, not just with her, but with the White House. This is a new day. Y'all remember how y'all felt a year ago when we had that other gentleman in the White House? Right? Boo! Right? This is a new day with a new president, a new cabinet. We have control of Democrats have control of the White House, the Senate, and the House of Representatives. New York State has a supermajority and just passed historic progressive legislation at the state level. Give them a round of applause. But this is about bringing resources to communities that have been historically ignored, historically neglected, and historically marginalized. This is about centering those of us who are most vulnerable, our seniors being at the top of that list, and people with disabilities. And Co-op City is the largest NORC in the world, represents all of that. So as Secretary Fudge clears the pathway for us to refinance, we will immediately be able to bring in $100 million to reinvest in Co-op City, to meet all of the infrastructure needs that people from Co-op City have been fighting for decades. This is about bringing in resources, reinvesting in our communities, and rebuilding our communities in our image. This is so exciting. And in doing it all, we keep Co-op City affordable, we keep it safe, and we keep it green, and we make it more green because the investments will also be towards clean, green, renewable energy, because that's where the whole country's going. So it's super exciting. It's my pleasure and blessing to be here. Thank you again, Chuck. Absolutely. And I want to pass the mic to my brother, State Senator Jamaal Bailey, to say a few words. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Congressman Bowman. This is amazing. We've been granted a beautiful day to be out here. We are being vaccinated at record numbers, again, in large part to the change in administration in Washington, D.C. Don't let anybody ever tell you that your vote doesn't matter and that it doesn't count, because we see that it counts in the count of vaccines that we've been getting. And that's largely great thanks to our great majority leader, Chuck Schumer. Leader Schumer, I want you to think about someone who is a majority leader for the entire United States Senate, but still has the time to appear on Zooms at community board meetings. I want you to think about somebody who has the time not just to talk about what we're doing about canceling student debt, but wants to come to a historic community in the Bronx and make sure that he's saving us money. Thank you, Leader Schumer, for all that you do. I mean, our congressman, he's hit the ground running. He's talked about making sure that we give our historic home care workers what they're owed. And he's been talking about introducing legislation to make policing fair. So Congressman Bowman, thank you for being a stalwart champion of doing what's right. And you know, Assemblyman Benedetto, a former educator, played a large role in making sure that we finally, in the state budget, give the children of the state of New York what they're owed, and we close the CFE gap with Foundation 8. Assemblyman Benedetto, thank you everything about that.
Jamaal, I want to add one thing. When we gave the education money to the state, we used Chapter 1. So New York City, Title 1 used to be Chapter 1. Title 1, and so the poorer districts and the city districts are much better than the wealthy suburbans.
And finally, we're making changes, and making changes is a part of who we have in the city council with Kevin Riley. And I'm going to speak about what Kevin's been doing, not just as a young man, because we've grown up together in this community. We know how much Co-op City means to us, not just for our children, because we both have 2 daughters, but not just for those children, but for everybody in Co-op's children. And making sure that we have money to reinvest in the community, reinvesting in the elevators, reinvesting in community spaces, reinvesting in gardens and community spaces and everything that we need here in Co-op City. Because Co-op is a historic community, make no mistake about it. I don't say this lightly, but people from Brooklyn to Buffalo and everywhere in between in the state legislature, they know where Co-op City is. They know who represents Co-op City, and they know how important it is 50,000 strong and 300 plus acres in one beautiful place. That is historic. The largest NORC in the world, the largest cooperative development in the country. This is the reason why Co-op City needs record investments. And so to Secretary Fudge, let me first say good afternoon. Because we don't want to be in a position where we're not saying good afternoon to our great and historic secretary, who was she introduced the Crown Act, actually. And I'm the proud Senate sponsor in the New York State Legislature about the Crown Act, about hair discrimination. And so Secretary Fudge knows a thing or two about setting things right. And we know that she's going to continue to do the great work that she's been doing, but we just ask again to make sure that the path is clear, so that Co-op City can be able to take that money that would be spent on other things and reinvest it. Because we've got the Metro North coming, and we have greater transportation coming. So with greater transportation access means that we have to make sure we keep our community affordable, and that we keep the cooperators who have been in Co-op City for so long, who have been the lifeblood, who have been working tirelessly for Co-op day in and day out to ensure that Co-op City is being taken care of. It's about time that we make sure we can do that. And so I just want to ask once again that within the sound of my voice, you know how special Co-op City is. And everybody knows how special Co-op City is. It is a place that I went to junior high school here, and my daughters go to elementary school here. And it's just critical and crucial and personal in this representation for you. So we're going to continue to clear that path. We're going to continue to be able to make sure that we get the money to reinvest. And I just want to make sure that we get somebody up here next, my partner in the New York State Assembly, Assemblyman Michael Benedetto.
Thank you, Jamaal. Good afternoon.